a month. That's exactly what they look like. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm sorry we have to leave. We have to be money. Thank you all.
Thank you. So Legal Shield family and friends, we appreciate you being with us here this afternoon. It's about 12:15. I'm going to try to get you out of here before 5 o'clock so that way you can try to get But they didn't tell you I was going to keep you here that long. You guys are already looking at us like, really? She said. My name is Melissa Wilder. I have been with Legal Shield now for about 15 and a half years. Love what I do. I can't believe it's been that long, but when you enjoy doing what you do, time just flies by. Wouldn't you agree, Kelly? Right? You've been with the company how long now? 17. Don? 19. So, when you just really enjoy it, you're passionate about it, the time flies by. But what's really unique for my opportunity, I think, with the company today is for 14 years I was in the field marketing these services. For 14 years I was in the field offering this primarily as a voluntary employee benefit. Also talking to small business owners about how to protect their business, and also to transportation companies in terms of being able to offer this to protect their commercial drivers. And so for those 14 years, loved doing what I was doing there, but I was asked to take a position in the executive offices in terms of assisting in the broker division, and kind of evolved working with Mr. Rousseau into working on sales for business solutions, pretty much for the whole realm of what we do in business solutions, for broker, group, for voluntary employee benefits, for small business, and also for CDLP. So for my guests in the room today, if you don't mind, how many of you actually work in the world of HR, some capacity? Okay, great. And I'm sorry, I know it's a tough job, right? And what about those of you that may be a small business owner yourself? Oh wow, quite a few small business owners. And what about brokers or insurance agents? How many of you are in there? So we've got a pretty good mix. So our presentation today should hopefully be able to speak to each one of you in terms of how you can work with Legal Shield, how we would like to work with you, whether it's in your HR capacity as a small business owner, or to offer this to your clients. Fair enough?
Yeah.
I love it. Somebody said yes. All right, so we're going to talk obviously about two revolutionary products in the marketplace today: legal services and identity theft services. And for those of you that work in the world of insurance, you may have already read that the top trends in the voluntary benefits today. There's 5 top trends, and 2 of them we meet: legal and identity theft services. So we're really excited about it because the timing for our company could not be better. I mean, people are living in a world where they need help. And those of you that work in HR, many of the HR directors that I spoke to throughout the years have said to me, Melissa, I don't know if my employees can afford it, or I don't know if they participate because they're living paycheck to paycheck. But believe it or not, those are our top clients. Those are the people we want to speak to. So like Ron said, there's some injustice in that middle sector. But really, if you think about it, those who make the least get mistreated the most, because people think they can do anything to them without any recourse. And we can change that through these types of services. So I'm excited about the timing of our company today and what we're providing. Now, a lot of people also have said in the past to me, and I'm sure Kelly and Don, you've experienced the same thing, is I'm a good person. I don't need legal services, right? Well, thank God you're a good person. We want you to continue to be a good person. People don't think about the legal system as a protective, something that they do at a proactive or preventive basis, more so than they think of the legal system as something reactive and defensive. Like you've got this major thing happening in your life or something popped up and now you have no choice but to call an attorney, right? But in reality, there are day-to-day things that we need to start thinking about that really we could benefit on a proactive or preventive basis if we just had access. Fair enough? So these questions I'm about to ask you, I want you to think about this. Have you ever thought about asking a legal question, but you didn't want to pay for the answer? Now, Mr. Grant said up here, what did he say, $300 to $500 an hour? Well, if you're making $10 to $20 an hour, you're pretty happy, maybe. But if you've got to pay for an answer that costs you $300 to $500 an answer, chances are you're not going to ask that question. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Also worried about mortgage issues, have concerns about identity theft, and or of course dealt with a civil dispute or consumer issue, things of that nature. But also for you that are small business owners or work in the world of HR, think about this. Have your employees ever received moving violations? Have they also ever lost a security deposit? You think that's something you face? Also signed a contract or document they didn't fully read or understand, as well as purchase a home or put their estate in order. And these are all things that we potentially, day to day, could go through sometime throughout our life, as well as now through Legal Shield can actually put in a legal aspect to deal with those situations. Fair enough?
Yes.
I just want you to think while I'm talking here this afternoon in terms of not legal services for bad or traumatic things or being reactive or defensive, but more so how to fit it in your life. How would your employees fit it into their life, right, on day-to-day things, where we could be more proactive and prepared. I promise you I'm pushing this. It's just not working. Are you playing something funny back there? Okay. Now, studies show that actually 57 million full-time working Americans experience at least one significant legal problem in the past 12 months. Okay? And I want you to keep in mind, this is actually when someone says that they know they had a legal problem. Think about all the other things that they didn't actually put into the bucket of legal problems, right? Things that I just discussed. So obviously that number could double or triple very easily. 40% did not seek legal help or advice for their problems. Do you know why? Cost. Sadly enough, cost. Also, studies show 42% of those that did hire an attorney said it was because, or didn't hire an attorney, said it was because they were too expensive. So even the 42% that said they had a legal problem, they knew they needed an attorney, but couldn't do it because of the cost once again. And 66% though said that they were, when they were able to hire an attorney, especially legal plans or prepaid legal plans, they said that obviously it lessened the amount of personal time and or money that they spent solving their problems. So those of you that are actually business owners or HR directors, I want you to think in terms of how your employees' legal problems cost you money, right? How they're troubled and distracted. So when you think about that, your employees' legal problems, it does impact your bottom line, okay? Because your employees are not actually focused, right, mentally or physically on the job. And we want, obviously, what? We need to focus mentally and physically on the job. So your employees have absenteeism, reduced productivity, and of course, increased health insurance costs because legal problems, they do cause stress, which of course obviously leads to health issues. So studies that will show when it comes to legal problems that your employees are 5 times more than average absent from work, use their medical benefits 4 times more than average, as well as they use their what I call slick leave twice as often because they're calling it slick to take care of their situations. And of course, experience a substantial reduction in productivity. And I want you to think about this because, even when an employee does show up for work, if they have something in their life going on, they may be physically present, but they're mentally not there. Wouldn't you agree? And, I've had a lot of HR directors come in the past, and Melissa, I don't really hear a lot of problems from my employees. They don't bring a lot of these types of issues to me. Well, the first response I always have is when they may not always want you to know what's going on in their personal life, right? But I can guarantee you this, they share it with their peers, meaning their coworkers. So chances are you don't have just one troubled, distracted employee, you've got multiple. And I said, do me a favor, I asked this one lady that I was visiting with, she was actually HR director, I said, you got this beautiful view of the parking lot. She was like, I know, isn't it horrible? And I said, well, when you look out there, I said, do me a favor, when you look out there, do you see any troubles bouncing around in the parking lot? She kind of looked at me strange. I said, no, they don't leave the troubles outside work. They bring them to work. She says, yeah, you got it. Because they do. They bring their life into work. And so giving them a resource that actually would allow them to come to work, pick up the phone, and call to speak to a qualified attorney like Ron or like many that is here today, and discuss their situation, they can actually, within 15 minutes, take this break, have this phone call, and be right back to work. They physically never have to leave work, and they mentally can be focused on the job. And I always like to tell employers, we focus on their problems so they can focus on their job. And that's what we do, right? That's a good thing, isn't it? All right, I'm having problems. You got it? Okay. So why Legal Shield? What is Legal Shield? Some people really don't understand what we do. Legal Shield gives you the ability to speak to an attorney without worrying about those high hourly rates. Meaning, to me, you never have to check your checkbook before you check your rights. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Okay. Right, so for one flat monthly fee, our members now have the luxury of being able to do what the wealthy do. The wealthy, they really don't check their checkbook for their rights. They just go ahead and pick up the phone and dial in when they have a question, concern, or issue. Now collective buying power through an organization or like a company like Legal Shield, we have that same resource, that same access affordably. Okay? And what our tagline is we like to allow people to worry less and live more. attorneys? Well, we know why they are. You know, it's an intimidating system, they don't know who to call, and we know it's too expensive. So what do people try to do? We've already mentioned it, is they ignore problems or they try to handle it on their own. Both of which are really not good ideas, right? If you have a legal situation, you really shouldn't be ignoring it. And Lord knows that if we try to handle it on our own, we could make it even worse, right? All right, so, go ahead. This is distracting me. But how about trouble me distracted? Right? And I'm just kidding. Mr. Sardines looking at me like, what do I do? All right, so let me talk about what the legal plan does. Because I want you to understand exactly how our family legal plan works. Will you role play with me if I ask you some questions? Sure. Okay. How many of you in here have ever had a question, concern, or issue, and you would have liked to talk to an attorney, but you knew you weren't going to pay for the answer? Okay? Absolutely. Well, as a Legal Shield member, you're going to be able to pick up the phone, dial one toll-free number. No stressing, no guessing. It's not intimidating at all. You just dial one toll-free number. As a matter of fact, we got an app for that now, right? You just push the button, and you're connected into your provider law firm, much like obviously what you saw here today with Mr. Glantz. You're directly connected into your provider law firm. You give a brief description of what your issue is, and an attorney that's experienced in that area of law is going to call you back and discuss with you your situation. Unlimited advice or consultation. Now, how many of you said things like this? Let me speak to your supervisor. Oh, just me? I'm the only one that's had problems, okay? And then let me speak to your supervisor, right? Knowing, right, that we were trying to what? Solve the problem on our own, right? We were stressed about it, trying to solve it, because we knew something was not right. We weren't happy about the way we were being treated. Now, as a Legal Shield member, you don't have to worry about that. You simply dial that one toll-free number, call into your law firm, and an attorney in that area of law that you have an issue with is going to call you back, and I like to say, lower your blood pressure, right? They're going to talk to you about your situation and tell you what your rights are. Now, how many of you said this? You'll be hearing from my attorney. Oh, you know, we've all said it, right? But at the same time, how many of us have really been able to mean that? Right? We've said it because we've been upset or something, we just did it at the heat of the moment. Well, as a Legal Shield member, you can say it and mean it now. Because Mr. Glantz already explained to you that they write letters. As a Legal Shield member, that law firm is going to write a letter on your behalf. I like to call those motivational letters. Right? It tends to motivate people the way they should have treated you before you had to get an attorney involved. But that's included in our services for our members. So once again, you understand the value of being able to have your employees have access to this without worrying about, them worrying about their problems. We're taking care of the issues for them. Now, how many of you have ever signed a contract or document that you didn't fully read or understand? Right? And I don't mean a marriage certificate, because I've done that too. However, okay, we all have been in that situation, but it's because we don't read legal. We don't understand. So a lot of times we just naively will sign something. And let me ask you a question. What would the wealthy do when someone said, sign this, man? What would they say? Let me have my attorney review it first. Well, as a Legal Shield member, we're just like the wealthy now. We can say, run that by my attorney first. Because we will review your contracts and documents, making sure that you make solid, sound decisions on behalf of your family. Isn't that very important? Absolutely. Now, it's going to kind of feel weird at first. I know, because we've never exercised that, right? Before, I like to call it like a legal muscle we've never exercised. But once you get in the habit of doing it, you kind of get a little bit more pep in your step. You get a little bit more confident about what it is that you're doing and making decisions. How about estate planning? Would you all agree with me that having a current will in place for your family is very important?
Absolutely.
But also can be very costly. Absolutely. Well, as a Legal Shield member, you're going to be able to pick up the phone, dial directly into your provider law firm, tell them you need advice on your estate. You're going to have an estate planning attorney call you back, discuss with you your household, your family